Okay, guys. This is going to be the Rubble Pile tutorial. This is going to be relatively quick because this is actually a pretty easy thing to do, especially with some of the insert mesh brushes and stuff that are out now. Speaking of which, I've loaded up some brushes here. There's a rebar, the Rubble Pack brush, the DC Plaster, and Rock Noise and Small Rubble Brush. All of these are in links that I have posted before. The Rubble Pack brush is probably the best you could use, and that comes from Bad King. And all these are free, so yeah, just grab them and use them. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is load up this. I made this just really quick. Um, these are going to be some large chunks. I just did this with Dynamics and Maya. Super easy. Follow the Dynamics tutorial for information on how to do this. So I'm just going to grab these pieces here and export them. And put this in the rubber pile folder. Just call these pieces. I'll go into ZBrush. And I'm going to go ahead and make a plane 3D, initialize it, align it to Y. So it's a ground plane here. Maybe turn perspective on just for the time being. Make this a poly mesh, and now we've got our ground plane. So let's go ahead, import our pieces here. So there's our main rubble pieces. Let's find the floor I just made. Is here. Go in. We're going to append our pieces, which they might see. Too small, too big. Let's see. There they are. Oh, I've got solo on. So here's our pieces. Move this ground plane down. I'm not sure why that's sitting where it's supposed to be. Put it down right around here. And we're good to go there. So these pieces that I brought in, we're going to Dynamesh these and we'll sculpt them to them a bit. So go in here, Dynamesh, a bit low, raise this up, Dynamesh them, still a bit low. Let's try 76. That's pretty good. So first thing we'll do is go into the rock noise brush, pound some of these bad boys out. I mean, this is not what we want to do. Let's go and load up mallet fast brush and start pounding out some of these rocks here. So these could be rocks or pieces of building, probably pieces of building, not really rocks, right? So we're just going to mallet out some of these edges just to make them look not so computery. Don't want to get rid of all of the edge, leave some of it, so we can keep the building type of look. Kind of pound these and just be random with it. It's a rubble pile, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And you could spend a lot of time doing a pile like this. I could probably spend an hour or two, but I'm just going to show you the techniques, and then you guys can spend a bunch of time on it. Trim dynamic, soften some of these edges out. That shatter tool does a really good job right out of Maya, so don't have to do too much here. We just want to get rid of some of this triangulation um, from the geo. And to do a pile like this, I mean, it's good to look at your reference, and this could be all kinds of different types of rubble. It could be bricks, it could be pieces of a building, it could be all whatever your scene needs. Um, one thing I think we're gonna want to do is rough this ground up. So let's take a look at this. So we need to subdivide that up quite a bit. You can't really dynamesh a plane. It's got to have thickness. Just go up to 1,000,000 polys. See what kind of resolution we get. Yeah, this works. So I think I'm gonna try this rock noise brush. Yeah, this works. I'm gonna set it up pretty big and just rough up ground because our rubble pile needs rough ground, right? So you want to find edges here so we don't have like pieces that are floating. This guy here, build up some supporting ground. Here, turn perspective off, turn the floor off as well. Rough this up. So you could use this as a piece, or you could try to make a tiling texture out of it, which I don't know if we're really going to get into that this semester or not. I'm running out of time. So that brush gets you a pretty good result, but you also want to make sure let's load up our trim smooth border brush. And you can load these brushes up into your startup directory, so you don't have to keep going in here and grabbing these. I just haven't done it because it's easier just to do whatever at the given time. So I'll use this trim smooth border brush quite a bit with a square alpha. Just knock back some of this stuff. So you don't want a totally noisy ground. You want some of it to be flat, carved in, or you're going to start getting like repeating areas and it's going to look like just a crappy alpha. I don't want that. And I'm not going to do a bunch of this because we're going to cover a lot of this area up. Just knock things back a little bit. Trim dynamic also works for this, works pretty well. Trim dynamic will help leave some of your noise behind. So, let's see, that looks pretty good. Now these guys are probably going to need some more work. They look way too sharp. This pattern on this one's really nasty. Smooth it. Pretty good. So let's get into our Rubble brush. All right. So we have this Rubble pack brush, and this is an insert mesh brush. So if we hit M, it comes up with all the pieces that are in here, which this has got quite a bit of stuff. So I'm going to go back to ground and freeze the subdivisions off of it. So if you hold down your space bar, you can position and then scale. So you want to kind of drag this out to the right scale. So we'll just say about there, and it's going to mask it off. Maybe a little bit smaller. There. So with our move tool, transpose, just click the center of this guy. Now I'm going to allow me to move it around. So this is really, this kind of just comes down to your eye, things to go. So let's rotate this guy here. It's good. Back to our brush. Let's maybe grab a piece of this ground here, here with this. And wherever you click this is how it's going to be oriented to the surface. I don't need too many of those. Broken barrel over here. Make sure you're matching scale. Let's move that around. Like crap. Let's try it. Pass at that. There we go. So, rotation. And this is really basic, simple stuff, guys. It's just placing these things around until you get a good result, or you match your reference. Like that tire. So let's put this tire over here. Good. And you want to make sure you're always thinking large, medium, small, large, medium, small. So this is a whole pile of crap. Let's just shove this. Trying to match that oil barrel scale. That did a pretty good job. So that's a lot of large forms. So let's grab some. Let's see. Shove this over here. There. And with this, we'll just rotate it up. Maybe. Oh, this is messed up. Rotate this up. Try to figure out a good spot to put it. Pretty good. Let's see what we can add to that. Add a broken window. And I'm just being really quick and dirty with this. So you'd obviously want to spend some more time in your own environment. Just showing you how you can start building up a lot of detail really quick with this stuff. Cardboard box, gutter, broken wall, door. Throw some rocks in over here. Some more here. Down over there. Do another pile of rubble that we can just kind of. It's over here. Let's move that to our plane here. That's probably a bit too small, judging from the look at those cement bricks. Try this again. So let's say that's about the size of a cement brick would be right around there. So get in here, eight, eight up. And it's okay if some of these things intersect because it just adds to the rubbleness of it. Let's see how pretty good. So as you can see, in maybe 10, 12 minutes, that's a pretty awesome looking rubble pile. So yours could be a lot less complicated. It really just depends on what you want to do. You could have just bricks and just pile a bunch of bricks. These insert mesh brushes, the Rubble pack actually comes with the OBJs as well. So you could just make your own insert mesh brush with those OBJs. Like, I'll show you how to do that. So let's just import. Let's see what bad boys are. We'll pack OBJs. So as you can see here are all the OBJs that come with it. So let's find brick. Blah 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 blah. See what the name of that one brick was. So cement brick is in this Rubble 01. So we'll go to import, go back to this again. One, open that up. So here's the OBJ that was used in that insert mesh brush, and you can see that we've got a brick right here. So let's look at our groups. How nice is that? They even separated the poly groups. So we wanted to grab just this guy here. So we'll grab that, frame it up, and there's our brick. So I'm going to delete hidden, and I'm going to go up brush, create insert mesh brush. I want to make a new one. There's our brick. So go back to our Rubble pile. We have, let's turn that off. Now we have a brick. So we can just go through and put bricks everywhere. Up, 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 up. Just watching your scale. You could also take this brick and put it into Maya and run a bullet sim off of it to drop a bunch of bricks all over your Rubble pile. Just depends on how much you want to art direct it. So you can see, you can get, let's get rid of all these guys, it looks like crap. So you can see you get a lot of detail really fast. So there you go. You make a Rubble pile. You probably want to switch this out. Now the next thing you would do with this, if you were going to take it into a game engine, this you probably have to break this up into a couple different pieces. So you'd have your ground and this. Some of this stuff was probably a bit too big, but you would basically remesh all of this stuff and then do a normal map, project your texture back on. Let's see here, I can merge this down. what you would do is to, I'm not going to go through the whole normal map process because that's another demo. Um, but just to give you an idea of how you could start with this, I'm going to go down into ZRemesher. Let's run the default. It's going to take some time. So yeah, you're going to get stuff like this. This is really going to destroy everything, especially this brick wall here was all separated. So maybe even a better idea for this would just be to create some cage geometry and then project the texture back onto it. Just depends, and probably not going to have this complicated of a rubble pile. You're going to have maybe just some bricks, just a little bit of rock, and some broken pieces. I can post some examples of rubble pile game assets as a kind of a go-to for you to look at. Those people doing game stuff, you would probably like maybe just do this little piece here or this little piece here, and then have your barrels be extra on top of it, and then you would place these assets into a pile into the game engine. Um, but this gives you a general idea of how to start using these insert mesh brushes to make Rubble. So post any questions, especially about how to use the insert mesh brushes if you don't know how to use them yet. And happy Rubble pile making. Should be pretty fun, and can't wait to see what you guys do. Thank you very much.